Okay, so I decided to make a video on this problem I'm having with this my wife's 4.3. It's been running fine for over a year, about 13, 14 months or whatever. Got about 1,100 miles on this engine that I just rebuilt. But it started acting up, having a cold start issue where it would run real rough until it warmed up, and then it would level out and run great, run just smooth as it could be. Finally set a check engine light. It was a random multiple misfire, and you know, I've been working on this. I've had this car for 12 years, so I mean, I know the ins and outs of it pretty well. I know what I've replaced. I know what I've done, and so I got to looking at this thing, and you know, I got to looking on YouTube, see if I could find out any information about the different types of misfires. And there's really nothing on there. People just trying to figure out what's wrong with their vehicles, which is what led me to make this video. People are throwing distributor caps on this thing, and they're saying, "Oh, distributor cap fixed it." And then 2 months down the road, well, distributor cap is bad again. You know, you look in the comments where the people are proud that they put a new distributor cap on there and it fixed their car, and it's great. But then you read the comments and people are, "Oh yeah, I did that too," but then 2 months down the road I had the same problem again. And so I've run this thing through the mill, and explain what all I've done to this thing. Now, I looked at the fuel trim on this thing with my scan tool, and the fuel trim was plus 10, plus 15 at idle in open loop, which means it's not warmed up yet. It hasn't gone into closed loop and let the computer take control of making the emission adjustments that it needs to make. So I said, okay, so let's just go ahead and run through this thing. We'll do the checks on this thing, and we'll see exactly what's going on, because it's a new engine. Okay, I'm not worried about an intake manifold leak. I'm not worried about upper plenum leak. I've already replaced the spider fuel injection in this thing. I've put a new fuel pressure regulator, which is attached to the spider on this thing. I've replaced a fuel pump on this thing. But I went ahead and ran a test on this thing, checked for intake leaks, no intake leaks. I checked for upper plenum leak, no plenum leaks. I checked all the vacuum hoses to make sure there was no leak, and I do have a small leak probably in the control panel in the dash. Okay, where you make the, you know, where you adjust where the air is blowing from, or where there's a leak in there somewhere. It's not real bad, but there is a little bit of a leak, but it's not going to cause the issue that I'm having here. It's not going to cause a random multiple misfire because the thing is running so lean. And again, if you hook the scan tool up this thing and look at the fuel trim is, you know, positive 10, positive 15 at idle when you first start this thing up, and that's bad. It should be negative, you know, it should be in the negative 10, 15 or whatever until it goes into closed loop. So I hooked my fuel pressure gauge up to this thing, and fuel pressure would go up to 52. When you start it up, go up to 52. If you just turn the key on and go to about 35, you turn the key off, it holds 35. So I know the fuel pressure regulator in the intake is holding, and I know that the return regulator in the fuel tank is holding, because it's holding fuel pressure. Okay, you start it up, it idles at 52. You give it the gas, it goes up to about 58. So fuel pressure is good. So that's not an issue. Check the lines to make sure there's no vacuum leaks in the lines, because it's a lean condition. Okay, it's running lean, and there's no question about it. So I look at the map sensor on my scan tool, and it's good. I look at the throttle position sensor. It's you know, the voltage is smooth along the lines of acceleration. Whenever you push the gas pedal down, how fast you push it down, how fast you let it up, it doesn't jump around, doesn't bounce around or anything like that. So DPS is good. I took the IAC, idle air control motor, off and looked at it. It's brand new. It looks, you know, it's good. It's operating. You turn the key off and on, you can watch it move in and out, so it's good. So you know, I've tested everything on this thing. Now the distributor cap on this thing, these things are really sensitive on this for some reason on this crossfire system that they have on this vehicle. I don't like the design. I wish they'd left the old school design alone. It was fine, wasn't broke it, but they decided they needed to fix it. So there's a lot of issues with that. I recommend using a cell, ACCEL distributor cap and rotor or rotor button. because the lugs are brass. The electrodes inside there are made out of brass. You can use AC Delco. Would not recommend using any aftermarket because it's all shit. Okay, anything aftermarket that you buy for these things is just garbage. So what I've decided to look at now is the EGR valve, which is this right here. Okay, and it bolts on right there. You can see where it's bolted on, and where it bolts on the intake manifold. And I looked at, you know, some of the videos on YouTube. They were talking about, oh, you check the EGR valve, you take the EGR valve off and you start the engine up. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, this guy is, he needs a few lessons. So, but anyway, that's neither here or there. The guys are trying to fix their car, and I get it, and I understand. So, but the proper way to check this thing is through voltage. And I'll show you how to do that. This EGR valve is bad, okay? Now, is it causing the random multiple misfire? Well, yes, it can, because if this plunger is just, you know, is not operating like it's supposed to, or if it's opening and closing at the wrong time, then yes, it can cause random multiple misfire because it's running lean. It can also cause a lean condition, because that's actually its function, is to lean fuel consumption under a certain condition. So what this thing is for, it's an exhaust gas recirculation valve, and what it does is it reduces the amount of NOx that's produced during high temperature combustion. Okay, so that when the combustion gases get to a certain temperature, they produce an excessive amount of NOx, which is nitrous oxide gas, I believe is what it is. And so by recirculating spent fuel or exhaust gas into the combustion chamber, it reduces the amount of NOx that's produced under those conditions. So that's its purpose. That's what it does. But what you need to do is the way with my scan tool, I can look at the TPS sensor, because it tells me the voltage whenever I'm depressing the accelerator. I can sit there and physically watch the voltage go up and down, but I can't do that with my scan tool with this car, because my good scan tool went away years ago. I haven't been a professional mechanic for about 10 years now. I haven't been doing it professionally, so I'm retired from that. So I wasn't going to spend, you know, $3,500 on a scan tool when I'm going to use it, you know, once every 3 or 4 years. So anyway, so I have to use an analog test, which is what I've done here. Now on this EGR valve, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to have a voltage meter, voltmeter, and you're going to put it on DC voltage. And then what you're going to do is you're going to find the C wire. Okay, these things are usually lettered. You can look right here on the valve itself, and you can see A, B, C, D, E. This has an F, this has an F, A, B, C, D, E, or F, or whatever. Anyway, it'll be the C wire that you need to back probe. Okay, and I've got this little device right here that I bought years ago for doing this back probing. You just stick it in there in the wire with it plugged into the EGR valve, and then you run your ground from your, back this out, run your ground from your meter to, I ran it to the battery. I've got this connection here that I ran to the battery for the ground, and then of course the hot goes to your back probe. Okay, and then what you do is you turn the key on. Walk around here and turn the key on right quick. Oh, Marty, what are you doing? Ain't he a precious boy? He's just a precious little boy. No, we're not going anywhere. Get back. All right, so we turn the key on, and we turn the voltage on here. All right. Okay. And we're not making a connection. Okay, now we're making a connection. Okay, so what you're going to want the voltage to read here, I believe, is from 0.5 to 0.95. So without this plunger, I'll show you what this plunger, with it just sitting here, just hooked up just like it is, it should read 0.5 to 0.95, okay? So this one is 8 0.86, it's fine. Okay, turn this thing so you can see it. 8.6 is it's fine. Now what you want to do is, let me get my little pusher probe here. You know what? Let me show you first. Okay, so if you look at the Egr valve right here, you can see that there's a plunger type deal right here. Okay, you see that plunger? One is open for the exhaust to come in, and this plunger opens and closes as the computer tells it to, so that it can allow the exhaust gas to get in there, recirculate, and reduce the amount of NOx that's being produced in the cylinder compression cycle of the cylinder. Okay, but the way to check this thing is that you want to push this plunger. I've got this little screw right here that I'm going to push this plunger in and out with. Okay, and what you're going to want to do is watch the voltage on your meter and make sure that it's not acting erratically along the lines of acceleration, is how fast you're pushing the plunger in and out. Or if you push the plunger in and hold it in one place, make sure that your numbers aren't bouncing all over the place, okay? Because that's going to be indicative of having a bad Egr valve, okay? So that's the proper way to test this thing, and I'm going to do that right now. But first, I'm going to set this up so you guys can watch this number, because I've already checked this Egr valve and it is bad. So let me set this thing up. And these cars can make you pull your damn hair out, man. They really can. These 4.3s, man. Yeah, I wish they'd have left them alone. I mean, I like the way they are today. But you know what? I can turn this so you guys can see that a little better. I think. There. Yeah, it'll be a little easier to see if I can find it in the freaking viewfinder. Ooh, where'd it go? I don't see it. It's gotta be there somewhere. Aha! I found it. It's on beach. Alright. So, yeah, now you can see it. Get in there, you son of a buck. Alright, now you can see that, right? Yeah, I can see it. Oh, see? Okay, so 0862. So I'm gonna push that plunger in and out and watch. Okay. Oh, and when you push the plunger all the way in on this thing, it should not read any more than 5 volts. If you push this plunger in as far as it can go, if it reads above 5 volts, throw it away, buy a new one. Okay. And again, if it acts erratically like this one does, throw it away, buy another one, because it's causing your problem. Okay. So let's take a look here. I'm gonna push this plunger in. I'm gonna push it in all the way. Okay. 4.9. Now I'm gonna let it out slowly. You see how it's bouncing all over the place? Now that's me holding it in one place. So this Egr valve is bad, guys. It should not do that. If it acts erratically like that, then it needs to be replaced. So, and also I wanted to mention, I don't know if I mentioned this or not. I forget what I say about these long videos like this, but what can happen with these cars, this is my theory, okay, is that when you have a situation where this thing has a lean condition, these things are notorious for running lean, guys. These things are notorious for it. You need to check the plenum, make sure you don't have a leak there. You can take some brake clean. You can see that. You can take some brake clean, and you can spray it around your intake while the car is running. Be careful, you know. Make sure you don't have any misfiring spark plug wires or anything like that, because if you have a spark, it's going to ignite, and you're going to have, you're going to scare the crap out of yourself. But you can do that, and if you notice an increase in acceleration or a decrease in acceleration, then you have a fuel leak. A vacuum leak. Another thing you can do is you can take a cigar, and you can pull your vacuum line loose over there, and you can take that cigar, and you can invert that cigar. Don't burn your tongue doing this, but this is the old school way we used to do it way back when. Take that cigar and blow smoke into the intake on this thing, and see if you have any smoke coming out anywhere. That'll tell you where your leak is at. So let me take this back off of here so I can zoom this thing out again. Ooh. There, zoom out. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what I wanted to say though is that I see a lot of people putting distributor caps in this thing, and then if you read in the comments, they're like, well, I put my distributor cap and then 2 months later I had the same problem again. Well, I think that's because you have a lean condition that's causing this thing to miss.